Membrane structure. Cell plasma membrane is selectively permeable. Allows some substances to cross more easily than others. Made of phospholipids and proteins held together by weak interactions, causing membrane to be fluid. Hydrophilic phosphate portions of lipids face inside and outside of the cell. Hydrophobic fatty acid tails face each other in a double layer, aka the bilayer, in the interior. Hydrophobic molecules enter more easily than hydrophilic. Membrane structure proteins. Proteins embedded in the membrane serve as either transport channels to move materials or as molecular receptors to bind signaling molecules, or ligands. Peripheral proteins are loosely bound to the membrane surface. Example, G proteins move along the membrane when ligand binds to G protein coupled receptor. Carbohydrates, involved in cell-to-cell recognition, necessary for proper immune functions, tissue differentiation and organism development, vary tissue to tissue.
Cholesterol, glycoproteins, phospholipids, and proteins play a role in the cellular membrane. Cholesterol connects phospholipids together, which in turn prevents them from drifting apart or coming too close. Glycoproteins, on the other hand, are fats made of sugar and proteins and play a role in signaling. Phospholipids are fats, or rather macromolecules, which are amphipathic, meaning a part of it likes water and a part of it dislikes water. The head of the phospholipid is hydrophilic, while the tail is hydrophobic, meaning the head likes water while the tail does not. Phospholipids allow small uncharged particles to move through the membrane. In contrast, proteins allow large charged particles to move past the membrane through active transport.
Animal cells are surrounded by a membrane, while plant cells are surrounded by both the plasma membrane and a cell wall. The cell wall gives more structural support to the cell. Many organelles in the cell are also enclosed with their own membranes. Examples: nucleus, mitochondria, and chloroplasts.
There are many functions to membrane proteins, such as through transport, enzymatic activity, signal transduction, cell-to-cell recognition, intercellular joining, and attachment to the cytoskeleton and extracellular matrix, also known as ECM. Particles with no charge easily move across the membrane. Examples: carbon dioxide and oxygen. They have no charge and are very small. Larger molecules like glucose and sodium require transport proteins for movement.
What are transport proteins? Transport proteins allow transport of bigger molecules with charges to move past the membrane. 3 different types of proteins are integral, peripheral, and channel proteins. Aquaporins, which play a role in movement, are specific to allowing the movement of water molecules past the membrane.
The sodium-potassium pump. The movement of sodium and potassium ions across membranes requires active transport. Through the hydrolysis of ATP, the sodium-potassium pump can transport the molecules out of the cell. The pump also contributes to the cell's action potential to balance the membrane's charges. The movement of molecules across the membranes of cells can cause changes to conditions of the cells. A cell is hypertonic when the more molecules move out of the cell than enter, often causing them to shrivel. Isotonic cells are at an equilibrium. Hypertonic cells can swell and lyse since more molecules enter the cell than leave.